بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه والتابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Indeed, all praises belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator, sustainer, and controller of the universe and all within. And we invoke His peace and blessings upon His noble messenger, His family, His companions, and all those who follow them in righteousness until the end of time. And may Allah the Exalted cause us all to be among them. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's everybody doing? Good? MashaAllah. Inshallah, today we begin a series on the family. And before we look at what the family is, I want to ask all of you a question. Is the family important for life in society? What do you think? What are your thoughts? Is the family important in society's life? Tell me, come on.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Or maybe? Who's saying yes? Put up your hand. All right, the brother in the blue shirt right there. Why?
Because you can't really interact the same way when your family isn't same as theirs. If you're talking about something you do as a family, you can't interact with them the same way.
You can't interact with people in the same way as you can within your family. Like, what's stopping individuals though, right? Living in the same, close to each other from interacting. Why do we need families? Yep. Because families do what? Very good. Because families raise us. They bring us up. They teach us things. You see, brothers and sisters, even if we were to assume that individuals can live together in society, we don't need family, the question is, where did these individuals come from? Where did they come from? Did they fall from the sky? No. So the family is vital to society because the family forms the building block of every community, of every society. It starts with the family. The individual alone cannot do much. You can't perpetuate the human species by yourself. You need to get married. You need to have a family, in other words. So the family itself is actually vital and necessary for the survival of human societies. But what exactly is a family? Tell me, brothers and sisters. What is a family? I know you're accustomed to me just speaking. Now you get a chance to give some input. All right? Yes, our brother over here. Yes, you.
Your family is your parents, your brother, your sister, your mom and dad, and they're the ones who give you money and raise you.
So your family are your parents, your brothers and sisters, and your mom and dad? Like, who are your parents?
Who give you money?
Who give you money, by the way? Hear that? So, family, our young brother said, are our parents, your mom and dad, and your brothers and sisters. And he made sure to add in there that your parents give you money, right? So if they don't give you money, they're not family, man?
Well, there still are, but sometimes...
Okay. Yes, they still are your family, even if they don't give you money. Okay, anybody else has any definition that is different from a family being parents and children, basically? And hopefully the parents look after the children. And we'll talk about that, by the way, right? Any other ideas, sisters? Yes?
They're related by blood.
Those who are related by blood, very good, very good. Because your parents and your siblings, you're still related by blood. So, that's what the family is. But let's take a look at how the No, don't show me. You got to show the slides. Yes. the Merriam-Webster dictionary online defined the family. And they gave a number of definitions, and we'll go through a few of them. The first is, they said it's the basic unit in society, traditionally consisting of two parents rearing children. Now, what do you guys think about this definition? The basic unit, and notice they said that, the basic unit in society. You can't get more basic than this. So it starts, the building of societies starts with the family. Take away the families, you have nothing. Traditionally consisting of two parents rearing their children. What do you think about the two parents here? Yes? In light of today's society.
For us, it's man and wife.
For us as Muslims, we're talking about two parents, we're talking about husband and wife, mother and father. So a male and a female. In today's society though, that may not necessarily be the same. Well, not necessarily, it is not the same. And then they say, another definition is any of various social units, right? Various social units differing from but regarded as equivalent to the traditional family. And so here, the various social units that are equivalent or considered equivalent to the traditional family, what are they really talking about here? What kind of social units are these?
You don't want to know.
Why we want to know? Why we don't want to know? We need to know, brothers and sisters. We need to know. Because our children will face these same issues in school. We need to know. What do you think are these various other social units that are considered equal with the traditional family? Yes?
Gangs?
Sorry?
Gangs.
Gangs? No, not gangs. Oh, gays. Sorry, gays, exactly. All right? The family structure where they have same-sex or same-gender parents, like children have two mothers or two fathers, whatever, and even situations where you have these transgender folks. All right, so somebody who was born as a man, let's say, later on says that they're a woman, so they get married to a man, and subhanallah. This is what this is about. We may not subscribe to some of these ideas, but as Muslims, but it's important to also know and understand what the trends are in society, so that we can also provide our children and our youth and our young people with the Islamic perspective on these issues. And then there is a third definition, and that is a group of individuals living under one roof and usually under one head. Now, this is a fairly loose definition of family, because these individuals may not really be related. Alright, have you heard of group homes? Children's Aid Society, they have what they call group homes. So they have children who are in foster care, in CAS care, who have reached 16 years old, and they still haven't been reunited with their families. They put these kids in one home, in a foster home, but as a group. They're not living with another family. They just have adults looking after them and managing them, but these 16 to 18-year-olds, they live in the home, like 5 of them, let's say, and they're like a family. Now, we already talked a little bit about this, the Islamic perspective on family. Our brother said it's parents and children. But that's a very sort of limited and narrow definition of family. It's not wrong. But where I want to start the discussion on family is what our sister said over there, that it's people who are related by blood. So this is a very broad perspective and definition of family. We will get to the parents-children thing later on, inshallah. But let's start off with this broad perspective on family, because there are ahadith and ayats of the Quran that deal with that aspect, and then there are also ayats and ahadith that deal with the more defined or more narrow concept of family regarding parents and children. So, for all intents and purposes, at least in this session, when we talk about family, we're talking about people who are related by blood, not just parents and their children. We're talking about your uncles and your aunts, your grandparents, your cousins, second cousins, and your nieces and nephews and things like that, alright? So we're talking about people who are related by blood. The Quran refers to them as ulul arham. You know, Allah subhanahu at one time in Arab culture, you could adopt a child, and then the child would be considered like your own biological child, and you would give the child your name. When the Prophet ﷺ adopted Zayd ibn Haritha radiallahu anhu, he was a young man, a young boy, as a youth, and then he grew older, of course. But when the Prophet ﷺ adopted him, the people used to refer to Zayd as Ibn Muhammad, the son of Muhammad, till Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade that practice. And he made it clear, because he made it clear that the blood relatives are the ones who have a greater connection with each other. Allah says, وَأُولُو الْأَرْحَامِ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلَى بِبَعْضٍ فِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُهَاجِرِينَ إِلَّا أَن تَفْعَلُوا إِلَىٰ أَوْلِيَائِكُمْ مَعْرُوفًا. This is an ayah from Surah Al-Ahzab. Allah says that ulul arham, the people who are related by blood, awla, ba'duhum awla bi ba'd. They have a closer relationship and more of a right to each other than the general mass of believers, believing men and women, and the muhajirin. Because remember, when the hijrah happened to Medina, the Prophet ﷺ, what did he do? What was one of the first things he did? Let's see if you remember your lessons on the seerah. One of the first things he did when he arrived in Medina, he did what? Yes?
He paired two brothers and two sisters.
Very good. Ahsan. He paired a person from Mecca with a person from Medina, a muhajir with an ansari, and together they became brothers. Now, in the early stages of Islam, when this type of brotherhood was happening in Medina, this type of brotherhood was so strong. It was like your own blood relationship, where the Ansari could inherit the Muhajir, and the Muhajir would inherit the Ansari. But when Allah revealed this ayah from Surah Al-Ahzab, this practice was outlawed. And Allah, the Exalted, limited inheritance strictly to the blood relations only, to the blood relatives. So He says, وَأُولُو الْأَرْحَامِ, the blood relatives, people who are related by blood, بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلَى بِبَعْضٍ, some of them, or they have a greater or stronger relationship with each other, مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, than the general body of believers, وَالْمُهَاجِرِينَ, and the immigrants, right? The immigrants here refers to the people who migrated from Mecca, فِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ, in the book of Allah. So we are talking about family, or mean blood relatives, people who are related by blood, even if they're a little bit far off. So the next issue I want to look at is, okay, so now we understand what this family thing is. We have a close family and a bit of a far family. How important is family? And as I said, by family we mean those who are related by blood. How important is family, guys? Tell me. Yes, how important is family? How much? You say a lot, but what does a lot mean? And, you know, what I'm looking for is actual ways or examples. You know, family is important for this or for that. Yes?
Family is important for our lives.
Okay, they're important in our lives, but how? How? Yes, go ahead.
Because they raise us, feed us.
Because they raise us, so family provide for us education and training and knowledge. Anything else? Yes?
Protect us.
They protect us. Very good. Yes?
Build a society.
Sorry?
Build a society.
That's how society is built. Yes, sister? They teach you things. Very good. Anybody else? Yep. Sorry? They have the biggest interactions with you. Because you spend a lot more time with them. So you should have more interactions with your family than with your friends. Okay? If you guys are home and you're spending hours in your room with your own cell phone, then something is wrong there. You should be with the family. Alright? Doing your homework, not just in your room, but sit at one table in the living room or something, and your brother or sister sit next to you, and you each do your own homework, and sometimes you chit-chat. You should eat together, like dinner. Alright, everybody's home from work and from school, eat dinner together, pray together, Maghrib, Isha, Asr these days. Okay, but all these things are correct and they're important. But they're actually more important things related to family. So I want to share with you 3 key areas based on the Quran and the Sunnah that highlight how important our families are to us. The first area, as you can see, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep good relations with the one who keeps good relations with his relatives. This is big. Because despite all the money and the things that our families may buy for us, if Allah cuts or severs his relationship with us, then that money is not going to mean too much to us. It won't bring much to us. It can buy material things, yes, but we will not have barakah in our lives. So those things are important that you've mentioned. But more than that, this is the one reason, or one of a number of reasons why family is extremely important. So we have to be connected with family. We may not see them often, but we may talk to them more often than we see them, or when we do see them, mashallah, we're happy and we meet them and we talk to them and we greet them and so on. We don't avoid them, right? So the first thing is Allah the Exalted, the Creator, will keep good relations with the one who keeps relations with his relations or his relatives. Here is a hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari. That's the Arabic. Any of you know Arabic here? Yes? You know Arabic? Taib, mashallah. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so let's skip the Arabic for now, go to the translation. Where is it? The Prophet alayhi salam in this hadith, he says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَلَقَ الْخَلْقِ. Allah created the creations. حَتَّى إِذَا فَرَغَ مِنْ خَلْقِهِ, to the point where when he was finished creating creations, one of his creations stepped forward. قَالَتِ الرَّحِمِ. The rahim, the word rahim, means the womb. The womb, right, in which the babies are created and they grow and then they're born. It's called the rahim. And what's interesting, this word rahim comes from the exact root of the word rahim and rahman. So the womb is actually a place of mercy for the baby as the baby is growing before birth. And then the relationship that baby or that child has with the mother and the father and so on should be a relationship that is also based on mercy and compassion. So the rahim, the womb, said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, "O Allah, at this place I seek refuge with you from all those who sever ties with me, connections with me." And as you can see in the brackets there, this is talking about all your blood relatives who are related for you even from far away. Distant cousin. And this is what usually in English we refer to as kith and kin. Okay? Family, in English we tend to use that for like parents and brothers and sisters. The very, very close ones. But in English, when we talk about kith and kin, we're talking about all your blood relations. Even those who are related to you by blood but from far off. So the womb, subhanallah, after Allah created it, stood up in that place and said to Allah, at this place I seek refuge with you from all those who will sever ties with me. And Allah the Exalted, قَالَ نَعَمْ, sure, أَمَا تَرْضَيْنَ أَنْ أَصِلَ مَنْ وَصَلَكَ وَأَقْطَعَ مَنْ قَطَعَكَ. Subhanallah. Here is what Allah offered the womb, because the womb is complaining in a way that, look, I'm seeking refuge with you, O Lord. There are people who are going to sever ties with me. And Allah says, okay, I'll give you this. Won't you be pleased with the fact that I will keep good relations with those who keep relations with you, and I will sever ties with those who sever ties with you? And the womb was happy with this offer from Allah the Creator, that the Creator will sever ties with the person who severs ties with their blood relatives. And that Allah, the Creator, will keep good relations with those who keep relations with their blood relatives. And so the womb said, yes, O my Lord. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, then that is for you. That is what you will have. So Allah has granted the womb that whoever keeps good relations with their blood relatives, because the womb here means blood relatives, that he will keep good relations with them. And anyone who sever those ties of kinship or relationship with their blood relatives, Allah will cut relations with them. That's how important it is, brothers and sisters. We'll talk a little bit more about this, but even if we have relatives who are not good people, and I'm sure all of us have some relatives here or there who, sometimes we don't want to see. But even the bad ones within the family, we don't have to condone what they do. We don't have to support what they do. We should not actually condone and support and encourage what they do. But to completely turn our backs on them, no. We'll talk more about that, inshallah. And the Prophet ﷺ, see what else I have. The Prophet ﷺ, as proof of the severity and the likelihood of people severing family ties, he said to the Sahaba, read if you wish, and he recited this ayah from the Quran, from Surah Muhammad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and here is the ayah, where is it? No. The statement of Allah is, would you then, if you were given authority, do mischief in the land and sever your ties of kinship? Notice, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about severing of ties with family as one of the first things that people may do if they have power and authority in the land. Is that what you're going to do? When you get power in the land, that's what you're going to do? The first thing is you're going to do sever ties with your family? So this is one aspect of how important family ties are, and that is Allah the Exalted will either keep good relations with that individual or sever his relation with that person, depending on whether they keep relations with their family or not. The second important reason why we should keep good family ties, not only for the money and the clothing and the food and the toys that they buy for us, but because keeping good family ties, brothers and sisters, can lead to an increase in our sustenance and in lengthening of our lifespan. Now let's not get dragged into the issue of qadr. Well, didn't Allah determine our lifespan? How can you increase it? Here is the hadith also from Sahih al-Bukhari. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man ahabba an yubsata lahu fi rizqi wa yunsa'a lahu fi athari falyasil rahimah." Whoever loves, man ahabba, and love here means you have a strong desire for this. You really, really want it. Whoever loves or really wants that he be granted more wealth, more rizq, and yubsata lahu fi rizqihi, his sustenance, his wealth, and that his lease of life be prolonged, that is, his lifespan be lengthened, then he should keep good relations with his kith and kin. And we said kith and kin means your blood family, right? Your blood relatives, even those who are far away. If you want your rizq to increase and you want to live longer, then keep good relations with your relatives. And of course, all of this is already known by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So qadr from Allah's perspective does not change. He knows who is going to keep good relations with their relatives, their blood relatives, out of the desire for an increase of sustenance as well as an increase in lifespan, and He would have already decreed that for the person. Excuse me. So, is there anybody here who doesn't want their sustenance to increase? Anybody here doesn't want more sustenance? You have too much? You want less or sustenance, your wealth? Anybody here wants less wealth?
Wants more money.
And anybody doesn't want to live longer?
Yeah.
Huh?
I want to live longer.
You want to live longer? The Prophet ﷺ in another hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, he said that the heart, you also want to live longer? May Allah cause all of us to live longer, mashallah. But a life of worship, a life that is dedicated to worship of Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ in another hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, he said, قلب الكبير شاب في اثنتين. He said the heart of the old person is young in relation to two things. The heart doesn't get old in these two things. Anybody wants to guess what they are?
Money and love.
حب المال أيوة وطول الأمل or طول العمر. The love for wealth and the long life. The heart of even the old person is young in relation to these two things. Right? So everybody wants more wealth and everybody wants to live longer. Subhanallah. Well, the way to do that is to keep good relations with your relatives. And we will talk more about the details of, how and so on. Alright. The third reason why we should keep good family ties, and this is the major one, brothers and sisters. Who doesn't want to go to paradise here? Anybody doesn't want to go to Jannah? Okay, now, have you guys ever traveled to any place like, another country? Yes? Put up your hands.
Yeah.
How did you go there?
Plane.
By what?
Plane.
You just showed up at Pearson Airport and just walked on the plane? Is that what you did? How did you get on the plane? You have to what? You have to get a ticket, exactly.
I got paid money.
When you guys go to the Leafs game, you guys watch hockey? Yes? Or baseball? Or the Rockers game? You just walk in the ACC, well I heard the name changed now, right? To what, Scotia Building, something like that? Or arena? You guys walk in the ACC and just sit down? No, you have to have what? A ticket. So without a ticket, you're not getting in, man. Without the ticket, you're not getting into Jannah either.
Oh, that'd be good. That's
Alright, so you need a ticket to Jannah. But the question is, where can you buy this ticket or get this ticket to Jannah? First of all, brothers, I have some great news here. You don't have to spend a penny to get this ticket. Unlike the Leafs game. How much for a ticket for the Leafs game? $50 at least? Alright? Or if you're traveling to another country by plane, a couple of $100, even thousands sometimes. What's the cost of a ticket to Kabul, to Afghanistan from here?
$1,600.
1600, there you go. This ticket to Jannah, you have to get a ticket to Jannah. Without a ticket, you're not entering Jannah, just like everything else. But you don't need a penny to buy this ticket. Our families, brothers and sisters, they are our ticket to Jannah. So when you get upset with a family member, whether it's your parents, or your children, or your siblings, or your grandparents, or your uncle, or your niece, or your nephew, or your cousin, second cousin, third cousin, whatever it is, remember this, that you're getting upset with somebody who is part of your ticket to Jannah. So our relatives, our family are our ticket to Jannah. Why am I saying this? Alright, this might be a bit quite dramatic to put it over this way, but let's take a look at the hadith. The Prophet ﷺ, this is another hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari, and as you notice, I try as much as I can to limit myself to the ahadith that are Sahih. And at the top of the list of the ahadith al-Sahihah are the ahadith from Sahih al-Bukhari or Sahih Muslim, or both of them. And then if I have to use hadith from other books, I try to make sure that the hadith has been verified by the scholars. This is a short hadith, but it speaks volumes. It tells us where to get the ticket. لا يدخل الجنة قاطع. And this means the person who severs the bond of kinship, right? You sever ties with your family members, your blood relatives, will not enter paradise. You cannot go to paradise. That's your ticket right there. So don't squander the ticket, brothers and sisters. Our families are our ticket to Jannah. But there's another hadith as well. 5 minutes? Yes, you know, when I start the session, it looks like I won't have much to say, but then time runs out. But alhamdulillah, it means we are doing what we're supposed to do. Alright, but check out this other hadith as well. On the same issue of the fact that our families are our ticket to Jannah. The Prophet ﷺ, in this hadith, أن رجلا قال يا رسول الله أخبرني بعمل يدخلني الجنة. A man, let me give you the translation one time. He said, O Messenger of Allah, inform me, tell me about an amal, a deed, an action that will cause me to be admitted into paradise, that will cause me to enter paradise. فقال القوم, and the Sahaba who were there, they said, ما له, what's wrong with this guy? Okay, what kind of question is this? Tell me about a deed that can take me to paradise. They felt that this was not a good question. So they said to him, ما له, what's the matter with him? Meaning, what kind of question is this? And the Prophet ﷺ, he said to them, Arabun ma lahu. He has something to ask. There is something that he needs a great need to ask about. That's his question. And then the Prophet ﷺ said to the man, he told the man to do a couple of things. The first one is تَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُ بِهِ شَيْئًا. The first thing is you worship Allah alone and you don't associate partners with Him. That is, you don't let anything else become more important than Allah. Not your video game, not your movie, not your basketball game, not your schooling, not your parents, not your children, not your spouse. They are important, but they can never or should never become more important than Allah. And what I mean by this, we should never ever disobey Allah the Exalted because we want to do something for our spouse or our parents or our children or anything like that. They are important, but when it comes to Allah, when it's time to pray, everything takes back seat. Once we're done praying, mashallah, they come back in front. Alright? So this is what the Prophet ﷺ meant, to worship Allah alone. And don't associate partners with Him. Don't let anything become as important as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whereby you decide not to do what Allah has ordered and to do something else. The second thing he told the man, وَتُقِيمُ الصَّلَاةِ. You must establish prayer. You want to go to paradise, you have to establish prayer. Number 3, وَتُؤْتِي الزَّكَاةِ. You have to give the zakat, you have to pay the zakat. Don't be stingy. And then finally he told the man, وَتَصِلُ الرَّحِمِ. Keep good relations with your family. Right. It's another hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari. So our ticket to paradise, brothers and sisters, is with our family. And so as we live this life, we need to make sure that we keep good relations with everybody. As I said, if somebody is doing something wrong, we don't have to like that and encourage that and support that. And we will talk more about these issues as we go through subsequent sessions, inshallah. But let us keep good ties. Let us not turn our backs on our family. Let us, whenever we see them, let's talk to them, let's greet them, give them salam, ask them how they're doing. If they don't want to talk to us, that's fine, let them sever the ties. But each one of us should make an effort to keep good connections with our families. Inshallah, I will stop here because we're out of time. When we meet again, though, the next issue, just so you know what's coming, is we will talk about the boundaries of family ties. There are certain limits to how important family ties are. We'll talk about that and explore that, and then we'll move on from there. At some point in time, I'll get more specific, inshallah, where I will talk about the duties of parents to children, and the duties of children to parents, or the rights of children upon parents, and the rights of parents upon children, and things like that. And I'll talk about the husband and wife relationship, because that's part of family as well. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us. We will stop here for Salat al-Isha, and inshallah after Isha, we have some time for questions and answers. I hope you are writing some questions for me, and we will deal with those then. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us. May He open our hearts and minds so that not only can we understand His wonderful message and beautiful message He has revealed for our betterment and our happiness in this world as well as in the hereafter, but may Allah inspire us to live by the message. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.